always say we're excited about this meal, but today it's extra special because we're bringing you to our favorite restaurant in all of Buenos Aires. This is a steakhouse, it's a Parrilla, and that means they cook all of their meat on the grill, and it's seriously the best meat we've tried in the city, and we've ordered our favorite cut, bife de lomo. It's going to be amazing. We're waiting for that to show up. Be a proper meal without a little bit of vino tinto.
Yes, this is the house wine, and it is actually very good for house wine. So anyways, so what makes this our favorite restaurant in Buenos Aires? Well, you know, the traditional Argentine food is steak, and it's called parrilla or asado, and what we're having here is parrilla, a special cut of meat. And what I really love about this restaurant, why we really like this place so much, is that the food is just fantastic here. There are some steakhouses in Argentina which are, you know, kind of a little bit pretentious. You're paying a bit more for the atmosphere than you are for the food. But this place is all about the food. It is just such an incredible cut of meat. I can't wait to share it with you.
Another thing we like about this place are the appetizers. We didn't order these, but every time we come here, they give us empanadas. And look at these.
And they're not just
nice
any kind
and
of
golden.
empanadas.
These are special
They're
empanadas.
some of the juiciest empanadas.
Okay. So it's like lean ground beef, and it's really juicy, really flavorful. And these are fried empanadas, so a little bit greasy as well, which I do enjoy.
And if that wasn't enough, check out the bread basket we were given. Some of these slices of bread actually have cheese melted on top.
And bacon. Look at this one. Cheese and bacon.
I know, I'm claiming that one.
So until the meat gets here, we've ordered our ensalada completa.
Yes, this is our complete salad. And oh, it comes with a lot of ingredients. Our favorite being the beetroot.
Yes.
Check out this generous slab of beetroot.
Eggs.
There's even tomato here. There's tomato.
Onions, potatoes.
Shredded carrot.
Yeah.
This is awesome salad.
It makes us feel a little better about all the meat consumption.
Yeah.
This is the reason we came here. The star of the meal has arrived.
Star of the meal.
Bife de lomo.
Look at this piece of beauty on my fork. Oh. That is some of the most tender meat I've ever had in my entire life. You bite into it and it just disintegrates, it just like melts right into your mouth. And it's so juicy and flavorful, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, this is the tenderloin
Yes.
cut in English, so it's the best.
And you know what makes this restaurant awesome? You know how you can tell you're at a really good steakhouse? They don't ask you how you want your steak. They don't say, do you want it rare, do you want it medium rare, do you want it well done? No, they just make it the house way, and they know what they're doing, so you get the best, most optimal steak possible.
So it is now my turn, and I like to put chimichurri on my steak. So it's kind of like this sauce, and it has garlic and different spices. I don't actually know all of the ingredients, I just know I can always taste garlic. So I'm just going to spread that on.
It looks like it has some kind of, it's oil-based as well.
Yeah.
And then over here you also have another kind of salsa.
Yeah, so this one is not spicy. This would be mild, but I like the one with the kick. So,
chimichurri.
let's put more chimichurri in. That's my favorite. It's the best cut of meat you can get at this restaurant. And you do have to pay a little bit more for it, but it's totally worth it. And we ordered one portion, and it's enough for Sam and I to share. Like, that's one big cut of meat if you
We
saw
may
it.
actually be bringing some home with us.
But yeah, highly recommended if you want to try some good steak. Parrilla, Peña, in the neighborhood of Recoleta, or just south of Recoleta actually. It's really good. Track it down. Okay, so Sam, what do you think sets Argentinian steak apart from steak in any other country?
Well, Argentine steak has a reputation for being world class. It's considered one of the best steaks in the world, and you know what? I totally agree with that. What really sets it apart is they don't try to mask the steak with tons of barbecue sauce. Like if you look down here, you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but there's just a little bit of salt on top. What the real focus is on the grilling, on grilling it to perfection, using the right temperature, cooking it for the right amount of time, so it's a little bit crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. They have just got that down to perfection. Argentine steak is just, it's world class. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, take that, Brazil.
Someone's had a little bit of my wine. I think that she's still doing just fine. We have a little bit of dessert, so how about we introduce our dessert? What have we got here?
Okay, so I'm already full. I didn't even want dessert, but Sam insisted. So we are having queso con dulce de batata. So that's cheese with a sweet potato type of dessert. And we also ordered a portion of dulce de leche. Just, there's nothing else in there aside from dulce de leche.
And that's more or less our most favorite thing in the world. Like, if I was on a stranded island, on a deserted island, and I could have like one food request, I might ask for some dulce de leche, a jar of dulce de leche. And how is that?
It's good. I mean, I think it's better when you're having it with ice cream or a banana or some cake. But I mean, it's not bad on its own.
So how would you describe it for someone who's never tried it before?
It's kind of similar to caramel, but not quite.
I find it a lot creamier, a lot richer, milkier.
And it's basically made by boiling condensed milk, and like you just keep boiling it and stirring it until it gets thicker and thicker, and this is what you end up with. Okay, so this is probably the simplest dessert you can get in Argentina. It is known as the trucker's meal. This is what a trucker would order at like a pit stop, you know, just a very simple, basic dessert.
You know what? This is a really classy dessert for what's considered a trucker's dessert. I mean, it looks really delicious, and the first time I ever tried this was at your house.
Yeah.
It's probably at your parents' house, I should say, like 2 or 3 years ago. And so I'm familiar with this dessert. It's one of my favorite. It's simple, but it's delicious. So let's try that. So what's great about this is this is a really like tasty cheese, but when you add it with this sweet potato in kind of sort of like in a gelatin form, in a thick form, it just gives that extra bit of sweetness while you're eating a cheese, and it's incredible.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's good.
Simple but delicious.
So it would appear Sam is on cloud nine at the moment.
So here's a guide to eating dulce de leche. You gotta grab a big spoon like this, stick it in your mouth, and you let it sit there for about 30 seconds, and you close your eyes. There are not too many feelings in the world that are better than this.
Have you found Nirvana over there?
I'm pretty close.
Maybe you just need another spoonful.
Okay.
I I think this is the result of too much wine. Okay, so we've been stuffing ourselves for close to an hour. It is time to go home, so let's do price point.
Okay, so in terms of price point, we're gonna focus on, which is basically the nicest cut of meat in the house. That entire cut of meat was 270 pesos, which was about 18 US dollars, and that was for both of us. So when you think about that kind of value, you're getting like $9 per person. You're eating like some of the best steak of your entire life. So incredible value. And again, this is just the kind of place like I can't recommend enough. I would call it a neighborhood Parrilla, a neighborhood steakhouse. It's the kind of place that you go into and you see mostly locals eating at. And when you see locals eating at a restaurant like this, you know it's high quality because they're gonna demand it. They're not gonna come back if it's not good. You can rip off a tourist, you're not gonna rip off a local. And that's all I've got to say. Come here.
Goodbye. Today's video is all about breakfast, and the plan is to show you an Argentinian breakfast, or desayuno. Now, we wanted to go to a really nice cafe that's near the Recoleta Cemetery. However, it's pouring rain outside, so we just ran out of our apartment and found the nearest cafe and popped in. So we've placed our order, we are hungry, and yeah, we're going to be showing you what breakfast looks like in this part of the world. So Sam, our breakfast has arrived.
Breakfast has arrived.
A quick intro to breakfast in Argentina.
A very happy boy. Well, the cool thing about breakfast in Argentina is that they like to keep it simple and sweet, and that makes it one of my favorite meals here.
So I'm pretty happy with what I ordered. I got café con leche, which is coffee with milk. The milk is super frothy, by the way, check that out. I'm not even a coffee drinker. I normally go for tea, but when in Argentina, you gotta do it right, gotta get some coffee. And then over here, I have my media luna, which is like a croissant. This one's made with butter. And I have facturas, which are little pastries. So this one is made with crema pastelera, which is kind of like a yellow cream, similar to Boston cream. And this one is stuffed with quince jam. So super excited about that. This is gonna be a good breakfast. And I'm just gonna dig right in. I'm not waiting for you. So I bit most of the jam out, but if you have a look inside, it's like a little croissant roll, a butter roll, stuffed with quince jam, which is so good. So Sam, can you tell us what you ordered for breakfast this morning?
I sure can. So if you take a look down here, I'm having something called tostadas, which essentially is toast.
Yes.
And it's a massive, generous portion.
That's a lot of toast. 6 slices.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like 2 slices, but I got 6. And what I'm most excited about here is this is like whipped butter, and it looks amazing. So I'm just going to spread it all over.
Yeah.
And then take a bit of a jam.
I wonder what kind of jam it is.
Looks like it may be cherry jam, actually. Cherry or a dark raspberry. So getting that ready. Let's see how good this toast is. That was some mighty fine toast.
Starting the day with sugar. Ooh yeah. So another cool thing that I haven't noticed anywhere else in the world is that when you order a coffee and something sweet here, like a croissant or a pastry or a piece of cake, you get a little glass with fizzy water. This is called agua con gas.
Soda water?
Soda water. Actually, this one isn't fizzy. This is like the first time this has happened. It's usually fizzy, and it's really nice just to like cleanse your palate and move on to the next flavor.
You need it with all the sugar that you have.
This is a first non-fizzy water. I'm shocked. And beverage of choice this morning?
Yeah, and for me the best part about Argentine breakfast is the coffee. The quality of the coffee is superb, and I ordered one with con leche, café con leche, which means a generous portion of milk, and wow, is it ever good. I usually put in 1 pack of sugar, stir it around, and it's like perfection.
And it's magic.
Perfection in a cup.
Have a sip.
I could have this any time of day, not just for breakfast.
And breakfast also came with orange juice today.
It did.
How's that? Is it from concentrate or freshly squeezed?
You know what? It tastes freshly squeezed, but the pulp's been removed. So good quality orange juice too. We are going to be on some kind of a sugar high by the time we're done all of this food and drink.
And now for one final treat. Another thing we've noticed is that in some of the nicer cafes, they give you free sweets. So even though we ordered like a coffee with the croissants and the pastries, you still get a little something extra. And Sam's already claimed one of these.
Yes, I get the one on the bottom.
So this one is like a little cake with dulce de leche, and I think it may be coconut on top. Just let me do a taste test here. Okay, yeah, wow. So the top layer is all shredded coconut, and then you have dulce de leche and like a little tart base. And this is the one that Sam really wants. Mini alfajor with dulce de leche and coconut all around. And I'm going to...
That's evil.
I won't do that. It's yours. It's all yours. Would you say this is your favorite sweet treat in South America?
Yeah, it's kind of scary how much I like this. I think I'm getting addicted over here.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how often you eat them. Well, you better savor that bite because it's a tiny one. Well, as you can see, we had no trouble devouring that.
Yeah, we polished that all off.
It is time for price points.
Yes, so basically it was 60 pesos per person, which right now is like between $4 to $5 US. And in some cheaper cafes you can get it for like $3. But this was like a really nice quality meal, and they're really generous with the portions, and the quality of the food was good. So excellent value, I'd say.
So you're satisfied. You can hold out
very
till
much.
lunch.
I may need a siesta after breakfast.
Oh, a morning siesta. Experiences that has been recommended time and time again is to go and have lunch at a bodegón, and that's kind of like an old-fashioned tavern. It has a very family-oriented feel, and it's kind of simple, classic. The focus is on good food, large, hearty portions. So that's what we're doing right now. We're eating at a place called Norte, Restaurante Norte. We've just placed our order and the food should be arriving soon.
So what I've noticed right away is it appears we're the only tourists here. It looks like this is a very kind of like neighborhood type of establishment, and there's a lot of locals frequenting this place, which is really cool, I think, because like there's a lot of times where we go out and we know we're eating somewhere really touristy and it just doesn't feel quite as authentic as this. And also this place is open like pretty much throughout the whole day. We noticed they have breakfast specials. You can pop in for lunch, which is what we're doing now, or you can come in for a late night dinner. Yeah, they're open from 6 in the morning till midnight.
Sam, you're looking happy over there. Why is that?
Yes, my bife de lomo champignon has arrived, which is basically steak with mushrooms and I think kind of a gravy, and these look like homemade wedges, like home fries, deep fried fries.
Just look
at all the gravy, swimming in gravy. So I am going to try the meat. I've served myself up a little portion. I'm gonna make sure I've got lots of gravy and a potato at the same time. Oh man, I'm so excited for this. Wow.
Wow, he says, wow.
That is some tender meat. And I've never had this kind of steak with gravy before, and it's like having like Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, except with steak instead of turkey. And the steak is a lot better than any turkey I've ever had. So this is amazing.
So I ordered the mini bife de chorizo with French fries, and as you can see, there's nothing mini about that hunk of meat. I thought it was going to be at least half the size
Maybe
of that.
Maybe it's mini if you're a 10-foot tall giant that weighs over 500 kilograms.
Yeah, seriously. So.
But if you're kind of a normal mortal human, there's nothing mini about that.
It's massive, so I think we're gonna have to share this and maybe even take some of it back home.
Oh, look at that meat. It looks so good.
It also has
Tender.
some hunks of fat in there. Ugh. Anyways, I'm struggling here. It's too big to maneuver. Oh man, how do I do this? Cut.
So we finally transferred it over to your plate. Now let's take your first bite. Cut that steak up.
So much meat. So it's a little bit rare, a little pink and juicy, which I don't mind. I can handle a little bit of blood.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. You know what? That's good. That's good. I was expecting not to like it so much after trying Sam's because his was really amazing. He had bife de lomo, which is super tender. But this is actually quite soft as well. It's a different cut of meat. This one's a little bit cheaper also than what Sam had, so there's a bit more fat in there. But it's actually pretty good. Yeah. So as Sam would say, this place is hopping.
This place is hopping, and you know what time? It's 12:40 right now, which is way before peak lunch time in Argentina. Normally when we've gone out to film our food videos, we've intentionally come like exceptionally early, like 12 o'clock when we arrived is really early for here. And we've done that just so we can get a table. But this place is almost entirely packed, and it's not even peak time until probably 2 p.m.
Yeah, and you're seeing lots of businessmen, and they're getting their food really fast. So I think they've like called in advance and ordered their meal.
Yeah, and we're loving our steak here, but we've also noticed that the pasta looks fantastic. We've seen like some giant meatballs that are like this big.
Yeah, seriously, we need to come back and try them.
Like they're bigger than my face almost.
Almost. Maybe not quite. So Sam is scowling over there on the other side of the table because apparently I had one too many fries, and he's
you were
not
being
willing to share.
you were being little Miss Greedy Guts. You had about 10 or 15 bites of my fries while I was eating steak, so I had to draw the line right here. This is
That's the line.
That's
That's
mine.
the line. I'm allowed to have a few more, and then that's it.
I barely have any left.
Grr.
So I have no idea what we're doing. We're already stuffed, but yet we've somehow found room for
Dessert. We had to get dessert. So this is called flan con dulce de leche. And that looks amazing.
Oh my.
And like, look at all the juice down here, that caramelized sugar. Oh my. Wow. I almost feel like we should have each gotten our own, because I'm gonna have trouble sharing. So Sam is counting the moolah. We're gonna pay up and then clear some room.
Yes. So in terms of price point, that was 468 pesos, which is roughly just over $30 US. And that included wine. That included 2 massive orders of steak and a dessert. So and also soda water too.
Yeah.
So and table service. So that was that's incredible value. I'm sure you could come here and order cheaper things. We noticed a lot of people ordering this kind of pasta with these giant meatballs.
Yeah.
So there's value here to be had. The food is excellent. It's not pretentious. You just come here to eat a big filling meal, and I'm so stuffed. I'm probably gonna have a 3-hour siesta after this.
Check out all the pizzas we can choose from. I think we have to order the specialty for sure. Another day, another slice of pizza. Today we're at Pizzeria Guerrin, one of the most famous pizzerias in all of Buenos Aires. This is one of Sam's favorite spots in the whole city, and we're here for lunch. We've placed our order and we're waiting for the pizza to arrive. Excited to be here?
Oh yeah. This place is an institution. It's been open since 1932, and just as of last year, they sold their 25th million pizza. Can you believe that? 25 million pizzas.
That's like a lot of pizza.
That is insane. And this place is kind of special for me because my first time in Buenos Aires was actually back in 2010, and I was an ultra hardcore backpacker at the time, and I stumbled upon this place through a recommendation, and I came here very frequently. So this place has a lot of sentimental value, and it's great to be back here again.
Pizza has arrived, and we have to start with the specialty of the house. It's called Pizza Guerrin. So that's this slice over here. Look at that. Oh my goodness, the toppings are falling off.
Wow, that's got a lot going on. I see olives.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, look, it's a really thick crust, first of all. The tomato sauce is kind of unusual. It's really chunky. And you have mozzarella cheese, slices of ham, red peppers, and an olive. So that's like fully loaded in my eyes. So let's dig right in. Look at me using a fork and a knife to cut my pizza.
How sophisticated.
Oh, it's hot. Man. Oh, wow.
Ooey gooey goodness.
It's a little bit greasy with all the cheese. Like, that's some really thick cheese they have. It's really nice, but let me actually get some pepper in there so I can tell you if it's good or not. That's nice. Wow. You're gonna have to try it and give me your opinion. The pizza master. So I'm being a nice wife and I'm sharing my pizza slice with Sam. This is the specialty of the house.
Yeah, how nice of you to share. I will accept your offer.
Yeah, it's quite rare for me to share, isn't it?
It really is. It's very rare.
Magic.
That's magic in the mouth.
An explosion of flavors.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good slice of pizza, especially because you've got a lot of different ingredients going on, but it still has a classic trademark of having really good sauce and copious amounts of cheese, which is the reason why I love this place so much.
So next up, this is fugazeta.
Fugazeta.
And fugazeta is normally just onions, but this was fugazeta with ham and cheese.
Look at all of the onions on here. And you can see the ham right there. Looks awesome. Oh. You know what? If you think the first slice of pizza had a lot of cheese, this one has, I would swear, like double or triple. Like, it is just overloaded with cheese. And for someone who likes cheese as much as me, that's a very good thing. Okay, so this is a bit unusual. This is called faina, and I always see people eating it when they order pizza, but like, it's not actually a slice of pizza. I asked the waiter what it was made of, and I think he said chickpeas, but I can't remember. That was a while ago. So yeah, it's kind of like a paste, and it's been shaped to look like a pizza, and they slice it into little triangles. This is what it looks like. Can you see? Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like a side order when you order pizza.
It's cheaper than the pizza slices, right?
It is. It's so much cheaper, and this is my first time seeing it anywhere in the world. So I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of Argentinian invention. I'm not sure. If you've ever tried faina before, let me know about it.
Yeah, we kind of ordered that on a whim.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I do like it.
And last but certainly not least,
Napolitana.
Napolitana. And this is probably my favorite, like, kind of classic pizza
Mine
slice.
too, so you have to share.
Yes. Well, we'll think about that. Oh wow, the tomato just dropped off. Let's grab that back. So what really makes this like one of my favorite slices is the fact that it has these big, thickly cut, juicy tomatoes put on top. And that just makes it like extra juicy.
That's the same reason why I like Napolitana.
Oh yeah.
Let's take one more look at that slice. It just looks so good. And look at the oregano sprinkled over top. Fresh tomatoes. Such a good meal.
It's gonna be a tough one to share.
Okay, so Sam, now it's time for the tough question. You've eaten in two of Buenos Aires' best pizzerias, El Cuartito and now Pizzeria Guerrin. Which one is your favorite of the two?
You know what? That's like choosing your favorite child. That's just impossible. It's like 1A and 1B. These are two of the best pizza places in the city, but not just in the city, but anywhere I've had, anywhere in the world. So if you're coming to Buenos Aires, you've got to go to both of them. And you're gonna find them, they're quite similar. They're really big, thick slices of pizza, quite affordable, lots of cheese. The toppings that they put on are all high quality. Like when they slice that tomato and put it on there, it's big, thick, juicy pieces. So come to Buenos Aires, try them both. I don't have a favorite. Maybe this one has a little bit more sentimental value because I came here before, but you know what, they're both great.
That's a very diplomatic answer. So we've paid the bill, it is now time for price point. How much do these slices of pizza cost?
So in terms of the slices, it's between 19 and 27 pesos. So at current exchange rate with the US dollar, you're looking at about, say, between 135 all the way up to maybe 190. So really affordable. Come here with a big appetite and order as many slices as you can because this is the kind of place where you're gonna want to walk out full.
Yes, follow Sam's example. So this afternoon, Sam ran out of the apartment and said, "Oh, I'm just going to get something sweet." And then he came back with all of this. Check it out. So these are artisanal alfajores, and we decided these are too beautiful to eat right away. Let's do a taste test. So that's exactly what this video is going to be. Can't wait to dig in. So these right here are alfajores de maicena, which means they are made with cornstarch, which is a finer flour than, you know, your regular baking flour. So yeah, I'm just gonna dig right in. Got a knife so that I can share with Sam.
Yes,
or battle him if he gets too close. Okay, I'm gonna start, I guess I should start with the classic one. This is a familiar alfajor that we've seen in lots of different bakeries.
Look how much dulce de leche is in there.
Check that out. Look at the thickness of that. That's probably like a centimeter of dulce de leche. And it's got coconut on the exterior, shredded coconut. It's kind of yellow. Looks great. That's just one bite. It's almost like a Timbit, you know, Timbit's donuts?
Yes. Do it in one bite.
Wow. That's a lot of dulce de leche in my mouth right now, so it's like, oh, getting stuck to my palate. But wow, really good, really sweet. And the dough is kind of crumbly, like it just falls apart the minute you stick it in your mouth.
Alright, this is my first one to try here. Ooh, that looks good. huge amount of dulce de leche, and this one appears to maybe have like coconut on the outer rim, and this is kind of, I think it might be an icing sugar. Those are just scrumptious. They're just
Scrumptious,
divine.
Divine, magic.
And that is icing sugar.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like even store-bought alfajores are tasty, but when you get them done like from these artisanal bakeries, it's just taking the game up to like beyond the roof. This is insane. They're so good.
Ceiling.
Through the ceiling. We just burst through the ceiling.
Okay, so this next one here, as you can see, it has a dulce de leche filling and then chopped almonds coating the exterior and a little bit of icing sugar on top. So let's cut it in half. Because sharing is caring.
Yeah, the knife wars haven't started yet, but wow.
Ooh la la. One bite. I really like having the almond there. It mixes in nicely with the dulce de leche. It just tastes sophisticated, if that's possible. Really good one. I think I like this one more than the first one I tried.
Alright, time for me to try this one. I think it has chocolate. Oh, neat. Okay, so it is just a chocolate covering. It still has the dulce de leche in the middle. Let's try that.
Is that milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
That's dark chocolate.
Ooh, I wouldn't have liked that one, so it's a good thing you got it.
I do like this one, but I prefer the first one.
Yeah.
For the same reasons. I like icing sugar a little bit more than dark chocolate.
And we still have one more, so let's cut into that. Ooh la la. All right. So again, dulce de leche filling, but this one has a glaze over top. And breaks apart. It tastes like wedding cake. And I love wedding cake.
Good quality wedding cake.
Yeah. Seriously, if you have a wedding coming up, you should have these instead of cake. And last but not least,
Yeah, this one here may end up being my favorite. Oh no!
you just destroyed
I
it.
just destroyed it.
How are we going to share that?
Oh my gosh. Well, you still got half of it. It's smushed. There's such a hard thing to cut here. So this
You know
one
what?
appears to have a coating on it.
It looks glazed. That looks just like the one that I tried. I think we got two of the same by accident.
It is glazed. It is, I think, exactly the same one. But this is my favorite one.
Mine too.
If I had to, yeah, totally. If I had to recommend one out of these 6, definitely get this one.
Good thing we got 2 of them. So we are now moving on to these fancier, giant-sized alfajores.
Time for the big boys. Time to bring out the big boys. And this one, out of the 4 big ones we got, is the heaviest by far. It's like a brick. It actually weighs a lot in my hand. I could do a workout here with it.
Okay.
And I think it's made with crackers, if you can see here.
Yeah, it's kind of a different
got
type of pastry.
Massive amount of glazing all over it. So let's just dig right in here.
Big bite.
Whoa.
Let's have a look in there.
Check out all the layers.
How many layers?
Oh man. It's like the mini one. It's like the wedding cake one, except you're getting all of these different layers. So this one is incredible. Time for you to try your first big one.
And this one's pink. And look, I want to show you the bottom of it because it's a different type of dough. It's not like the cracker one that Sam was trying. So yeah, should be interesting. And it's pink. It's so cute. Surprise, surprise. This is the first one that doesn't have a dulce de leche filling.
What's in it?
So that right there is dulce de membrillo, which is a quince jam. Not a popular food in North America, I've only ever had it here in Argentina as a jam or like different pastries. And yeah, it works really well with the strawberry glaze. Look at that. So this one right here is another behemoth.
Yes.
Check it out.
For my last one, I am trying what might be the thickest one. Like, look at this. And it only has 2 cookies.
Yeah.
And the rest of this appears to be glazed with maybe dulce de leche underneath.
That's like an inch of dulce de leche. That's like a week's worth of sugar.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, you know what? New favorite one. This is my new favorite one. This beats the wedding cake one. There's so much dulce de leche and then all that icing sugar. Oh yeah, this is the best one. Right here. Winner, winner, ding, 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 ding.
You're not
winner.
convinced.
Winner.
So this is the last one I'm trying, and it looks quite similar to the one with the pink glaze. Similar type of cookie as well. So we'll see. Okay, so again, dulce de leche filling, and I was honestly expecting it to have a different type of glaze, maybe lemon or something unusual, but it's just your standard glaze. It tastes like sugar, and I'm not complaining because I really enjoy glazed pastries, so this is a pretty good one. So now that we've devoured all those delicious alfajores, it's time to talk about price point.
Yeah, so in total it came to 130 pesos, which is right in between 10 Canadian and 10 US dollars right now.
Yeah, and that was for the 4 large ones, 4 large alfajores.
Yes, 4 large ones and 6 little ones.
Yeah.
And we got it from here.
La Pasta Frola. So this is on Avenida Corrientes.
It is, and it's existed since 1917, so 99 years old. Next year it'll be 100.
Big anniversary coming up. Time, our favorite time of day. Today we're eating at a place called La Americana, and the slogan is La Reina de las Empanadas, the queen of the empanadas. So that's exactly what we're going to be trying. We've ordered a sampler plate with 5 different ones, and that should be coming really soon.
So La Americana, the name of this restaurant, is actually a little bit of a misnomer because they specialize in more like traditional hearty types of fare.
Yeah,
like
you won't be
pizzas,
finding hot dogs or
empanadas.
hamburgers, nothing like that.
No,
it's not American food.
And this is one of these cool, long-standing restaurants that's located on Avenida Corrientes, the theater district area. What's that fancy little thing you've got over there?
Alright, so this is pretty cool. It's called soda sifon, and it's basically soda water. And I guess they just prepare it here. Honestly, I don't know the technicalities. I don't know how you make soda water.
Well, that's obviously the device that makes it work.
Yeah, so then you just go like this. Oh,
Wait, look,
leaking.
You've got soda.
I do have soda. La, 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 la,
Look at all those bubbles.
La, 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 la. Isn't that cool? Salud. Isn't it bad luck to toast with just water?
It probably is.
Tastes like soda water. Yes, and I think we may have ordered 1 too many because these are massive.
2 or 3 too many. These are gigantic.
Like, they're a lot bigger than we were expecting, so I think we'll have some leftovers for dinner or maybe a quick snack. But anyway, let's dig right in. I'm going to start with this one right here. This one is called Udanita, and it's a meat empanada that has been deep fried. So let's cut into it first so you can see the filling. There we go, it is steaming. So you can see the beef there, there's a green olive, and also a bit of egg. I'm gonna have to wait for this to cool down. I think it's like fresh out of the deep fryer, to be honest. It's burning my fingers.
Blow on your food.
Oh my gosh. That's one of the best ones I've had in the country. I kid you not. But have a look. The meat is kind of juicy. It's really nice. And also the dough, it's made with lard. So you kind of get like a salty greasiness coming through, which probably isn't healthy, but it tastes amazing. And which one are you trying next?
I'm trying criolla, which is also a meat one, but apparently this one's baked as opposed to fried. So let's dissect that here. Ooh, look, you can see the juice.
Science lab.
The juices are coming out. Oh wow, wow, wow. Oh wow. You know what? I don't even know if I can really. Oh, that's got a green olive in it as well.
Steaming.
Look at that.
Ooh, baby. Let's
try that.
So you also had a bite of mine, which was deep fried. So you'll have to compare the two.
You know what? There's one common element between the two of them, and that there's so much awesome juicy ingredients inside. Like these are some of the best empanadas we've had in South America. Not just in Buenos Aires. No, they're so juicy and so flavorful. Honestly, the only difference really between the fried and the baked one is just how the dough tastes on the outside. The fried one is a bit more crispier, whereas this one has more of that typical baked type of texture.
So next up, I'm going to try one that's called pastel de choclo, which technically isn't an empanada. It's round and it looks more like a pastry. But I mean, it was listed.
It kind of looks like a fancy Danish or something.
Yeah, but it was listed on the menu next to all the empanadas, so we figured, why not? Let's just add it in.
Oh, look at all the corn.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So this one, it's a lot flakier. If you can see the dough, it has lots of layers. It's like millefeuille. And yeah, you can see the corn right there. It's very buttery. You can feel it.
It looks like
take a big bite.
To me, it looks like a cross between a Danish and a croissant. Stuffed Danish.
You know what? It has icing sugar on top. So it's an interesting combination because it's kind of savory. Like I wouldn't say the dough is super salty, but it's kind of savory with the corn. And you've got a bit of sugar on top. It's interesting. I've never had anything like this. It's like a crossover pastry. Unusual, but I'm glad I tried it. It is time for another. Which one are you having next?
Yes, I am having the tuna one, the atún one. And much like the one you just tried, this one has a texture more of like a pastry, a croissant.
Yeah.
And so...
It's very flaky.
Very flaky, but you can see there's a generous amount of tuna here.
Let me see.
Yum. Alright. Let's try that.
Yeah.
That's really good. I haven't had a lot of empanadas with tuna before, so this is a pretty unique flavor. And it's just, it's kind of strange having a tuna pastry that is more like more like a croissant than a typical empanada.
Yeah.
But it goes well. I mean, there's also a little bit of a sugary taste on this one too. But it's overwhelmingly savory though.
I noticed it had a bit of icing sugar.
Good stuff.
Well, was that a good choice for lunch then?
Yeah, that was like an awesome surprise. I mean, we thought the empanadas would be good here, but we didn't know how good they'd be.
They were spectacular.
And they're very affordable too, between 19 to 26 pesos. So that's not a lot of money at all. Like you're looking at less than $2 US dollars, between $1 to $2 US dollars, but $1.50 to $2 US dollars. It's really good value.
So yeah, come check it out. La Americana on Avenida Corrientes.
Yes.
Well, hello from Buenos Aires. It is lunchtime in the city, and today we have a very special meal planned for you and for us because we're going to be eating it. We're going to a place called El Club de la Milanesa, and they specialize in milanesas. And we've been there once before. We loved it. We knew we had to go back and make a video. So let's get going. locations across the city, and today we're eating at the one in Recoleta. Chosen what you want for lunch, Sam?
I think we're getting pretty close to ordering our meal, yeah.
Yeah. So they have some pretty cool napkins over here. Come sin culpa means eat without guilt.
And we're pretty good at that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we have placed our order and now we're just filling up on bread until it comes. But Sam, can you tell us what a milanesa is for people who aren't too familiar with this dish?
Sure, so milanesa is basically a meat fillet that has been dipped in egg and coated in bread and then deep fried. So it's somewhat similar to a schnitzel, but it has a very unique Argentine twist.
Yeah, it's really good. It's thinner than a schnitzel actually, and it's usually veal, but it can also be beef or chicken. Yeah. So we'll actually have to try these in order to be able to tell you what they are exactly. But at first glance, this looks like guacamole, barbecue sauce, mustard. This looks like mozzarella cheese with a tomato and basil. This one is ham and cheese and tomato sauce. This is cream of cheddar and melted cheddar with bacon over top.
Yeah, and we couldn't decide which one to order, so why not get a sampler portion?
Yes, so we got 7 different ones to sample, and that comes with a salad and these delicious potatoes.
Cheesy fries.
All right, this looks good. Let's get all the toppings on there.
How's that?
Oh yeah. So that's veal, cheddar cheese, a little bit of bacon, and like thinly sliced spring onions on top. And it's really tender meat, like it's so soft. Wow.
So I am having the caprese one, which is spinach, cheese, which appears to be mozzarella, and tomato.
I think that's actually basil, but we'll let it slide, Sam.
That's really good. When you add the tomato like that, it gives it an extra bit of juiciness, which I really like.
Yeah, nice and fresh.
Good stuff. Next up, guacamole.
Yeah, this looks a little bit Mexican. Let's see. I'll try some of this. That's good guacamole. It has lots of lime. Also has tomatoes. And I think I'm having parsley, not cilantro. I can usually tell when it's cilantro. That's pretty special. But yeah, another good one.
Alright, next up. This one appears to have ham, tomato sauce, and cheese as a topping. Wow. You know what? I thought just the kind of cheese they may put on top of this, you know, might be like processed or kind of low quality, but this is really good high quality cheese, and so far this one is by far my favorite.
Okay, yet another.
Any idea what this one is?
I think it's barbecue sauce, just at first glance.
Smells like it.
We'll see. Let's get that on there.
Lots of sauce on that one.
It is barbecue sauce. And you know what? I grew up eating milanesas, but I never would have thought to put barbecue sauce on it. Like, that's pretty unusual, but it works. I actually like it. I think it may be one of my favorites so far.
Just taking a second bite. That one appears to have pickle.
Yeah, let's see. It looks like Dijon mustard. Has a pickle, has some bacon, spring onions. That's Dijon mustard for sure. Again, that's a bit unusual. I tend to only put mustard on hot dogs or sausages, so I've never had it with milanesa before, but it works. It's different.
Alright, and last but not least, I've got one that appears to have a cream of cheddar with some bacon added. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's like having high quality cheese whiz put on top. And then you add a little bacon. Big time winning combo. Big time.
Okay, so this right here I'm really excited about. This is our side dish and it's called papas criminales, criminal potatoes. And again, this looks like an Argentinian twist on the Canadian poutine. So it's French fries with lots of different toppings. So let's take a little tour of the bowl and I'm going to tell you what's in here. So we have mozzarella cheese and cheddar cheese, and we have red onions and some paprika and spring onions. So why don't we just mix it all around? Oh, and scrambled eggs. I forgot about the, oh, and bacon. Oh, it's the dish that keeps on giving. Look at that, a little bit of everything. Oh my, I love poutine, so this is right up my alley. Look at that.
Nothing healthy about it, but I bet it's amazing.
I know. Our main order of milanesa came with these potatoes and a salad, and I think the salad is going to be a little bit neglected on this meal. So we're finishing up the meal, and Sam has altogether given up on cutlery.
It's caveman style the rest of the way to finish all of this.
Yeah. Well, we sure took care of that. How
Demolish that.
Feeling?
This is a classic case of my eyes being a little bigger than my stomach. I'm not full, I'm beyond full. So basically, my siesta is going to be starting really early today, and I think I'm going to be having a longer one than usual. Alright, and if someone wants to try to get similarly stuffed like we did, what would they be looking at in terms of price?
Okay, so that whole sampler platter with the potatoes, you know, the criminal potatoes and the salad came to over 300 pesos, and that's just over $20 US. So not a bad price for feeding 2 grown people.
Yeah, we could have used a third person, honestly.
Yeah, bring a friend. It's a bit of a rainy day out here in Buenos Aires, so we thought, let's start the day with something sweet. So we came to one of our favorite cafes. This place is called Petit Colon, and we're going to be sampling facturas. So a factura is an elaborate European pastry, and these were brought over by European immigrants, and now you can find countless varieties. So we've ordered 6 different ones. They're looking pretty good, right over here. So we're going to be sampling those, and you can get them with lots of different toppings. We have a few with custard, some with quince jam, and generally you can also get some with dulce de leche, but those tend to be the first ones to disappear because they're so good. So we don't have any with dulce de leche right now. Yeah, we came here a little late,
didn't we?
Yeah. To show you Sam's coffee because it's pretty fancy.
Yeah, normally when I go out for coffee in Buenos Aires, I end up getting cafe con leche. That's kind of your standard coffee.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a little fancy pants today. I have ordered a cappuccino that comes with a heaping amount of cinnamon on top.
Yeah, cappuccino con canela.
Yes, so it's time to try that.
Yeah.
That's really good. I mean, I like my cafe con leche, but if I can upgrade it to a cappuccino, then it's worth doing so.
It looks like the holiday season in a cup.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with this one. Look at that. Oh, Oh wow. That's really good stuff. Oh look. So it's kind of like a light, buttery, fluffy pastry. This one has crema pastelera, which is kind of like custard, and it also has shaved coconut on top and a little bit of glaze. So good. Going in for a second bite.
Would you say it's scrumptious?
Scrumptious.
All right, time for me to dig in. So this is my first one here. It appears to have maybe a slice of orange or peach. I'm not entirely sure. Could be peach. Try to get a bite of the peach.
He says,
It is peach.
Yeah.
And these are really buttery, moist, and like you really taste the sugar too. Like these facturas are good quality stuff.
Let's get a closer look. So that was peach and custard, right?
Yes. Custard in the middle.
Peach, custard, and a few nuts, it would appear.
Yep. Walnuts.
All right, time for another. So this one has poppy seed and cherry in the middle. Okay. I've never had a factura with poppy seed before, but it gives it a nice little hint in the background. It's kind of nice. I like it. Now let's bite into the cherry. I need the cherry. Oh yeah. Kind of feel like a chipmunk. My cheeks are full of facturas. Okay, so number 2, that one looks good.
Yeah, this one has jam on it. We think it might be quince jam. Let's try. Yeah, it is. I can tell it's the quince jam because it's quite a bit more tart than, say, strawberry jam.
Yeah, you've been having a lot of that lately.
Yeah, it's really grown on me. In fact, I'm gonna miss it when we leave.
Yeah, and this factura looks like it has a bit of a party going on because it had quince on one side.
It does. It's got sprinkles, and then it has
the custard.
Custard on the other side.
A little bit of everything.
That one's got a little bit of everything, yeah.
And this one's my third. Again, this one has crema pastelera, like the 3 previous ones, but this one has a bit of icing sugar on top. So a little different. I mean, it's a small little difference between pastries. It's also good. And there's something in the middle there. I wonder what that is. Dulce de leche. Oh my gosh.
No way.
Look
Show.
at that.
Let's see it.
That's dulce de leche.
Move it over so we can actually see it.
There it is. See, so you can find some pastries with dulce de leche. You just have to come early. This one's the best. I like the combination of the two.
Okay, and this last one that I'm trying here appears to be very similar to the first one that I tried, but this one has sprinkles, but it also has custard and peach, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of all 3 in this bite. And what has a different kind of custard? This one tastes more like pudding. Yeah. So it is different from the first one, and this one is my favorite one.
Well, we polished all of that off, no problem.
All 6 of them. Yeah, and the facturas were basically 15 a piece, so you're looking at about $1 per each factura.
Yeah.
Really good value considering how scrumptious the pastries were, and we couldn't recommend this cafe more highly. It's right inside of the Theater Cologne, so
Right around the corner from it.
yeah, if you're right in this area, pop in here and have a coffee and some snacks.
Alright, so as you can probably guess from this, for today's video, we are in our kitchen in Buenos Aires and we are going to be teaching you how to make yerba mate. So one thing we've noticed here in the supermarkets is that they have entire aisles dedicated to mate. There must be like 50 varieties out there at least.
Seriously, it was like a daunting task.
Yeah, it's like, how do we
it down.
choose? Which one's the right one? But if you've never heard of mate before, it's kind of like a green tea. It's basically a green leaf that they kind of like smash together, and you use it to make tea, but not in a teacup. We're going to be using these little things, these little mugs. And normally they're made out of gourds, so that's kind of like a hollowed out pumpkin or something like that. But these are a bit more modern. I've got my matryoshka here.
Show them my Monsieur Mustache, my Mr. Mustache.
So this one is Sam's.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that.
Yeah, so you can get some that are made out of wood, there's metal ones, there's a whole bunch to choose from. But anyways, let's start making this thing. So let's open this. This is our first time making it. Ooh la la. It's kind of funny. This is our first time making it, yet we're teaching you how it's done. Oh, can we be trusted?
That's how we roll.
That's the question.
What is it they say that if you wanna learn how to do something, teach someone else how to do it.
There you go.
So we're gonna want to fill it up about 2/3 of the way.
2/3 of the way. Oh, and first you should probably have a look inside the bag. Look at that. So you can see how the leaves have been kind of crushed.
You get a really good view from there.
Kind of like a loose leaf.
All right, fill it up 2/3 of the way.
2/3. That would appear to be 2/3. There you go. And they say that you should put your palm over it and kind of shake it to help the... Oh crap, it's flying around everywhere. To help the smaller leaves, or like the powder, settle near the top so it doesn't get stuck in your straw. But my hand's too little, it's flying everywhere. Look at that powder. Anyways, so then we're gonna take our little straw. This is called bombilla. And just stick it right in there at an angle. And then we're going to grab our water, which I boiled earlier. You don't want to use boiling hot water, so we've had this sitting for a few minutes.
Yes. They say the key is 75 degrees.
75 degrees, well.
So that's what we're going for.
I didn't really check the temperature, guys, but let's just go with that.
Yeah.
There we go. Fill her up.
Fill her up, Buttercup.
Here we are. Have a look at that. It's still bubbling. Did we do it wrong? So, ready for the first sip. I didn't add any sugar to mine because I don't normally have sugar with my tea.
Oh, naturel.
Oh, naturel. Let's have a sip of this. Mmm. Yes. It's been a while since I had this. I never really enjoyed it as a kid when I was living in Argentina. I always thought it was gross and bitter. So it's interesting trying it as an adult. How many years later?
Have your taste buds matured a little bit? Would you say?
Yeah, you know, I'm used to drinking green tea now, so I do like this. It is a little bit bitter, and it kind of has a grassy flavor.
Can you taste those herbs?
Yeah, I mean, it tastes green. Like grass. Like I'm eating grass in a field. Like a horse. Yeah, so it's actually nice. I am enjoying it. And as you can see, the water level has kind of gone down. So you just grab some more hot water and keep refilling this.
And the cool thing about this is you can fill it up upwards to 10 to 20 times before you need to replace the mate.
Yeah.
So you can just and it's a very social drink. Like if you see people drinking this on the streets of Buenos Aires, you'll notice they'll be passing around the same gourd and the same
straw.
Yes.
You just share.
So it's a very
saliva doesn't matter. Just pass it along.
There you go. All right, it's time for me to make my mate tea now. The Mr. Mustache gourd is waiting, and unlike yours, I'm gonna make mine with sugar.
Okay, show us how it's done.
Showtime. So once again, 2/3 of the way full.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that you can get in there. hoping that's about it. And of course, sugar, I'm gonna give it a generous amount.
What's a generous amount, Sam?
I'd say about 2/3 of a tablespoon.
Whoa.
That's a lot of sugar.
That's not even a teaspoon, that's like a tablespoon.
It is. And time for the water infusion. So.
And now we wait for the magic to happen.
Yeah, the difference here being I'm going to be stirring mine so that I can mix that sugar in. Mixy.
I don't know if locals would approve.
All right, let's try the sweetened version of the mate here. Wow. Yeah, that's really nice. If you like something sweet, then you're gonna want to add sugar to it. But what I find though is when you add too much sugar, kind of like what I did, is you kind of mask that strong taste of the mate. So I prefer mine au naturel without sugar. But if you enjoy your tea or coffee sweet, then you'll want to add some to yours.
So the question is, tea or mate? Which do you prefer?
Well, when you're in South America, especially in Argentina, you're gonna want to prefer mate because this is like the national drink here.
Yeah, and we've seen people drinking this during demonstrations, during their lunch breaks, while they're hanging out at the park, everywhere.
It's an everyday part of life, and if you come to Argentina, especially Buenos Aires, you're gonna want to try it.
And all the items that we used are super easy to pick up at a supermarket, and they're also really cheap.
Yeah, you can also get them at the different fairs. You can get them at the Sunday San Telmo Market or the Recoleta Sunday Fair. And you're gonna pay a bit more. You're gonna pay touristy prices, but you'll get something that's a bit more like artisanal.
Yeah. So here it is. We're gonna have our first sip of mate. I didn't add any sugar to mine because I normally don't have sugar.
Sugar. I remember sugar. I remember sugar. Where's the sugar? Where's the sugar? Where's the sugar? Sugar.
Speak English. Okay. Can you see him filming? Okay, so today we're doing something a little bit different. We've been filming a lot of food videos at restaurants here in Buenos Aires, but for today's lunch, we're going to be trying food by the weight, or comida al kilo. And these are kind of like establishments that are open only during the lunch hours. It's usually from 11 to 3 or 11 to 4 p.m. And you go there, you grab a container, you fill it up with whatever you feel like eating, and then they weigh it, you pay, you're all set. So it's pretty cool because there's a really great selection there. You get to eat what you want, maybe a little bit healthier. And yeah, these places are located in areas where you have a lot of businesses, offices. So let's go eat some lunch. After you, sir. Got our plates, now we fill them up with whatever you feel like having. And this is a salad bar. Take your own.
Loaded up big time.
Yes, is that enough for lunch? I think you need a bit more, maybe some greens.
I need a lot more. My greens plate is over there. I'll show you that one later.
So we are back in the apartment.
Yeah, it's chow time. I'm so hungry. I've often been skipping breakfast here, and so by the time we go there at 11 o'clock, like I'm absolutely ravenous. So if you take a look down here, you'll see that I've got like this kind of eclectic mix of food. Cannelloni, I've got ravioli. Cannelloni.
So a cannelloni is kind of like a pancake that's been stuffed with something savory. It could be meat or spinach.
Yeah, exactly. And then over here I have a fish ball that includes salmon inside. I've got a huge wedge of avocado.
There you go.
Sweet potato, various kinds of mixed rice, Asian inspired rice. And then over here I have like grilled eggplant and some fried cheese, an egg roll,
That's
some noodles.
a little bit messy.
I just went for it all today.
All right, we'll dig in.
Okay, so why don't we try some ravioli to start off with?
And there's so much variety at this place that we go to. Like
Seriously.
you could eat any type of food. Like Italian, there's some
There's
Spanish,
Italian,
Asian.
there's Italian, classic Argentine food, all kinds of Asian food, and they have an enormous salad buffet. That's actually what I've normally been doing. I'm going to show you this here. I actually bought myself dinner. This is just a pure salad.
Yes.
So I'm having my hot, warm stuff now, and this is just all pure vegetarian salad here for later on today. And since we bought so much, they gave us little dinner rolls as well. So
nice. And all right, we can't forget the wine. I mean, we didn't get this at the food by the weight place.
No.
But since we're in Argentina, you gotta have a glass of red wine with your meal.
Yes, and if you're gonna choose any particular wine, you'll want to get Malbec because that is their national grape. Argentina is known for making Malbec wine. And the favorite one that I've been getting is one from Cafayate, which is, just south of Salta. And that we actually were able to tour the vineyards in Cafayate, so it has kind of like sentimental value for us. We get a little bit nostalgic thinking about it. But the other main area where they produce wine, and it's even a bit more famous in Cafayate, is Mendoza. So I'm gonna try the wine here.
Salud. To health.
Oh, so good. So good. And this is a really good bottle. This is a 2013 edition. And I paid just over 100 pesos for it. And if you're at that price range in Buenos Aires, you're gonna find yourself a really nice bottle of wine here.
The food. All right, let's have a look at my plate. So this is what I got. I got grilled eggplant with mozzarella and a bit of oregano on top. I have a
That's
chili
one of my
chicken.
favorite things.
This is really good.
Yeah.
And this one is my favorite. It's a spicy chili chicken that I really enjoy. I have some sweet potato mash. I have some Asian noodles happening underneath here, some avocado, potatoes, champignon mushrooms. And this is kind of like a quiche, an egg quiche with veggies. And well, the salad just got left behind, there's a small portion in there at the bottom.
There's a token amount at the bottom corner.
Yeah, and these meals are super affordable. We've been paying about 30 to 50 pesos depending on what we get. I mean, if you're mostly having salads, which are quite light, it'll be closer to 30. But if you go for like heavy meals with lots of meat and carbs and potatoes, it's usually a bit more.
Yeah.
So quite affordable. In US dollars, what would that be? Do the math, Sam.
Yes, that's like, you're talking about $3, $3 US,
Yeah.
$2.50 to $3 US.
Yeah.
And we've been shooting a lot of food videos in this series, but
when we're not filming, this is what we're eating. We're going to the food by the
this is
way
actually
place.
what we're eating most of the time here.
All right. Well, let's just dig in. This is gonna be kind of messy because I forgot to get a knife. Oopsies. Oh, whatever. Let's just dig in. That's so nice.
And for a place
Freedom.
that's as cheap as this is, like the quality is really quite high. Like you're not getting, disgusting fast food. This is good food.
It's all fresh. They prepare it every morning before opening, so really nice.
Yeah.
And also, I should mention that these places, food by the weight, they're almost on every street corner, so it doesn't matter where you are, you'll be able to find one no problem.
Yeah, and another really good tip for going to these places is to arrive early. Not only do you avoid the crowds, but you get the freshest and the best of what they've just put out.
Yeah. If you go there at 12:30 or 1, most of the food will be gone, like the really good stuff. So we always show up at 11 a.m. as soon as they open, which means we're having an early lunch, but we're getting to eat exactly what we want. So for today's lunch video, we've gone back to our favorite bakery, La Pasta Frola, and we've gotten some sandwiches, but these aren't just any kind of sandwiches, these are special. These are sandwiches de miga. And miga is actually a word that we don't really have in the English language. It's used to refer to the white part of the bread, like sliced bread. The white part is really soft.
Basically
so
the non-crust area.
Yeah, not the crust would be miga. So let's open this up. Sam ran off to the bakery for us and got 4 different varieties. And there you have it. Ooh la la. So these sandwiches are really popular at birthday parties or family gatherings just because they're super easy to pick up at a bakery. You don't actually have to make them yourself because, you know, that would be a little time consuming. So just pop into the bakery, choose a few different varieties, and you're all set. You can feed an army. So I'm ready to dig into this first one here.
Which one are you trying?
Well, I can see some tomato and potentially some deli meat. So as you can see, it's super thin, super light. Kind of a fragile sandwich really, so you want to be careful with it. So that's really nice. It has nice slices of tomato in there. So that makes it really nice and juicy and refreshing. I can also taste butter. They've spread butter on the bread, which is really nice. And that does appear to be turkey. So yeah, nice little sandwich right here.
What's turkey in Spanish?
Pavo.
So first up for me, I'm gonna try one that has tuna and cheese. So let's take a look at that. See if we can peel back the tuna a bit, and then you can see the cheese on the as on the bottom layer.
That one looks good. Big bite.
That's good.
Those are happy noises. Nom, 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 nom.
One of my favorite sandwiches is tuna and cheese sandwich, so I'm not surprised that I like this. And I just find this bread is so light and fluffy. You just bite into it, and so yeah, these are not heavy sandwiches. These feel more like snack sandwiches to me.
Yeah, you could have like 20 of them and not be full.
I know.
So next up, I'm trying a healthy one. This one is whole grain. And if you have a closer look, we've got spinach leaves in here. And also, ooh, this looks like prosciutto. So this one's gonna be good. I'm excited.
It looks tasty.
Let's see. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so the whole grain bread, it's a little bit drier than the white bread. So I can tell they've put a little bit more butter in between each of the layers. Nice spread of butter in there.
You can see that butter.
Yeah. And also I should mention that you can also get these sandwiches toasted, especially the ham and cheese ones on white bread. You'll find that at any cafe. Like you can get that for breakfast, for your afternoon tea. You can just ask for a tostado de jamón y queso, and that'll be a sandwich like this, but toasted. So yeah. And last but not least,
so I'm trying basically the classic cheese and tomato, but this time it is on the whole grain, kind of like the one that you tried. And this is my first time to try the whole grain, so. Yeah, you're right. It is, the bread is a little bit drier than the white, but like as you said with your previous sandwich, they've compensated by adding a little bit more butter.
Yeah.
And then the tomato also makes it juicier too. So yeah, this is one of my favorite ones here.
So that was a nice little snack. You want to tell us the price for that?
Yes, that definitely wasn't enough for a meal, but as a snack, it was great. It came to 93 pesos, which is $6 US, and yeah, it was a snack where I think we're still a little hungry.
We're still hungry, so I think we're gonna head out for lunch. So bye.
Off to the bodegón we go.
Today's meal, we are going Italian. We're at a place called Los Inmortales, which means the Immortals. It's a very established restaurant that dates back to the 50s, and it's located in the theater district here in Buenos Aires. And we've ordered something called a calzone, which is basically like a folded pizza. Now, I don't think I've ever had that before, even in North America, so it'll be an interesting experience. I think Sam will really enjoy it because he loves any type of pizza. So yeah, we're just waiting for that to arrive. Should be coming soon. Are you eagerly awaiting the arrival of our meal?
Yeah, I'm seriously excited, especially for this one, because I've never had a calzone before, and considering how much pizza I've had in my life, that's kind of shocking, to be honest.
Yeah, they kind of have like an imitation in Canada. It's called pizza pockets.
Yeah, it's like these like microwavable folded pizzas, and you know, they're awful. They taste awful.
It's like junk food for teenagers once they come back from school.
I don't think
that's what they eat.
I probably haven't had one of those since I was 16 or 17.
Yeah,
so.
Same here.
Yeah, and anyways, we picked out this place to eat through, I did a bit of research online, and this was rated as one of the top pizza places in Buenos Aires, and they said they specialized in calzones, and also it's one of the older joints in the city, so this is really cool. This place has a lot of character.
So the calzone has arrived, and first things first, I am shocked by the size of this thing. Like, have a look at it over here. This is just half of it because our waiter already sliced it and served us up our individual portions. But look at that. It really was like the size of a whole pizza folded in half. And like, look at how thick it is. Like the stuffing is just oozing out. Look at that.
Use your hand as a sense of scale here.
A sense of scale? How do you want? But yeah, it's massive. I think we're going to struggle to finish this. Like, it could feed 3 people. 3 or 4 people?
Well, I'm quite hungry today, so.
All right.
So first bite.
Right, time for the first bite. So far I can see tomato, mozzarella, there's ham, mushrooms, and who knows, there may be a few more surprises in there. Let's see what we find.
And how did we like that?
Oh.
You know what? You always forget to blow on your food.
Oh man, that was really hot. Okay, anyways, it's really nice. There's like a lot of cheese in there, so you really have to chew it because it's like so stringy and gooey. But yeah, I do enjoy it.
Is it similar to pizza?
It kind of is, but you know what? There's no tomato sauce. That's what sets it apart from a pizza. This calzone has no tomato sauce, it's just the filling. So it's kind of nice. I have to say, I do like it. I'm pleasantly surprised. So let's see what the pizza expert has to say about the calzone.
Well, before I even tuck into this, like, look at how much cheese there is. The copious amount of cheese is actually oozing out. I literally haven't touched this. This is just how it was served on my plate.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to grab a bit of everything here. So cut it up. Make sure I get a big slab of that cheese.
I feel like we almost need a spoon for this.
No. Wow. That is a lot of cheese. But the one thing that surprises me, like, this is just my first bite ever to try this, is that it's a lot juicier than what I thought. Like, with all of the mushrooms and tomatoes, I can see why you don't need a sauce. It's quite juicy as it is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more bread than on a typical pizza with the dough. Like, you really get a big chunk of bread when you bite into it.
But you know what? I am missing the tomato sauce. Like, that's just something that I associate with pizza toppings. So I feel like that's missing.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they do have calzones with tomato sauce and maybe we got the wrong one. We don't know because it's our first time trying it. So time for final thoughts on this dish. What did you think, Sam?
So overall, it was really quite good. Like, it was really fascinating to finally try this calzone for the first time. But there was one point of criticism that I'd like to point out. It's that they use canned mushrooms.
Oh,
I
that's
don't like
a
those.
big no-no for Sam.
Yeah, I just find them slimy and a little bit yucky. I mean, I ate them, but yeah.
Not your favorite.
But in terms of portion, that was massive. We couldn't finish it all, so it defeated us. We were getting it packed up and we're gonna take it home for a little snack or for dinner tonight. And the other thing I wanted to mention, it was just along this particular avenue, Avenida Corrientes, there's a lot of historical restaurants. Some of them are pushing the 1 century mark, some of them are almost 100 years old. So if you're gonna go to dine anywhere in the city, I really recommend this particular street. There's a lot of historical restaurants worth checking out.
And last but not least, price point.
Okay, so that calzone was just a little bit over 200 pesos, which is about 14 US dollars or 7 per person. So not bad, but I have to say I do prefer pizza. You can get some really good pizza in the city. So this is okay, but it's not necessarily a dish that I would, you know, like chase.
Yeah, and not just in the city, but you can also get really good pizza here. We saw someone order a pizza and it looked delicious. So.
Yeah, food envy.
A little bit of food envy.